Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Nevis LP and today we are not going to ride our Moto Guzzi but repair it somehow. You will see. So first things first, I'm doing a tutorial here but I'm not taking any responsibilities of what you are doing to your bike, so just be self-responsible for whatever you do. I'm just going to show you how I would do what I'm doing here, but this does not mean it's necessarily the right way or something like this. So just decide yourself how to work on your Moto Guzzi. That being said, make sure to follow my other social media channels like my Instagram channel, and yeah, enjoy the video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. May help me. When I drive my bike, I often used to brake with my rear axle, so these pads are pretty used. So today's task is to exchange the braking pads on the rear axle of my Moto Guzzi V7 III. Yeah, it's pretty simple, I guess, and let's check out what to do here. You may start by preparing your tools. Make sure everything is there you need, and you have a bin bag for things you need to throw away. There are some tools you will need, like a Torx 25 and a 10mm, however you call this thing, I don't know. You'll also need a hexagonal socket thing, which my toolset calls HW5. You also need copper paste and something we call screw tightener, screw securer, something like this. Last thing needed is a standard Phillips screwdriver, which allows you to open these both screws, which are on the right side of your bike. So I'm going to open it up here. Maybe it's not necessary, I don't know. I guess it needs to be open because you want to push the fluids back to the reservoir here, and therefore it's good to be open, so there's no pressure against it. Okay, once opened, be sure to secure your screws so you don't lose them. I guess that's the thing. It should be clear at this point. So when you open the cap, there is a piece of plastic and a membrane underneath, and you should lay them aside. Be sure not to lose them. And you should clear the membrane, but be gentle with this. Usually there is water on top, and you don't want the water to get inside the reservoir of the braking fluid. The braking fluid itself likes water, so it tries to get it somehow. So be sure not to mix this up. Clean your membrane on both sides, and then put it back on the reservoir to ensure that nothing falls inside, and yeah, wouldn't be good if there's dirt inside. So just secure it. You need to leave it open because you want to push the braking fluid back into the reservoir. So that's why we're on this side. Now comes the awkward part. Your Moto Guzzi doesn't have a main stand, and therefore it has to be lifted using a tool like this I show here. You can also change the brake pads without this tool, but it will be very painful for your back, so consider not to do this. Once lifted up, you can reach the screws you need to reach in a better way. Not ideal at all, but it is good to reach now, I guess. Okay, let's get a short overview. You see the ABS sensor which is mounted in the rear and could reach these holes in this plate. There is a cable going right behind your braking line, and therefore you need to detach the ABS sensor first. So yeah, this would be the first part we do. Then the braking thing itself, it's attached with those two screws, which is not too hard to get it unlocked. Okay, first we need the Torx 25 to unlock and detach the ABS sensor. It's a little bit tightened with screw secure thing. Just you will need just a little push to get the initial movement of the screw, and then it comes out pretty easy. So here's the screw. You see there's a blue mark on it. This is this screw secure thing. Okay, now you can carefully wiggle on this ABS sensor so it gets loose, and then you can pull it out and have a look or something like this. Just let it hang down somehow. Yeah, nothing too fancy at this point. Now you have to unscrew these both screws, which is 10 millimeters. You need to have a tool which could give you some torque at all, because these screws are very tightened. Yeah. In this video, I did a trick so you don't see how tight it is, but it was very hard to get them loose. Yeah. Just take a look at the screw. There is no screw tightener on it but rust. Okay, so you don't need to add screw tightener later. Now unscrew the second one, and be sure to don't lose your screws. And this black thing which is on the screw, I don't know the English word for this. Just be sure both screws are complete when you try to screw them back in. Now, so now you can carefully wiggle on your caliper. It could help to push and pull it back and forth, because by doing so you are pressing the fluids back to the reservoir, and that's why we open it on the other side. So your caliper will become loose like here, and then you should be careful, because it now only is on the braking line, and you don't want to break this. So now you can see the last two screws you need to open up, and you have to be very careful with these. So at this point you need your hexagonal tool, which is called HW5 in my tool set. These screws are very hard to loosen, and you need to be careful, because as I said before, the whole caliper only is attached to your braking line, and you don't want to break this thing up, so be careful at this point. Okay, totally unscrew both screws, and you can even pull them out at the end. You need to, because those two screws secure the braking pads inside of the caliper, and if we are going to pull them out, the braking pads will become loose and fall off, as you see. Yeah, that's it. Now the braking pads are outside, and I use this one to push these two cylinders which are on the back down. While I'm pressing this down, the fluids are getting to the reservoir, and this will allow me to install the new braking pads, and after that it will allow me to install the caliper to the braking disc, because the new pads are higher than the old ones, just because they are not used. You see it now. There are two marks on my new Brembo pads, which could show you that these pads are good. And if you can't see those two lines from the outside, you know, okay, your pads are now not too good anymore and you need to replace them once again. I just tried one pad inside and it fits pretty good. Now I'm just looking once again if there's any difference between the old ones and the new ones. Just double check somehow. At the back of the caliper is a compression spring that pushes the brake pads forwards, and this will give you the impression that the new pads will not fit inside your caliper. But this is totally okay. Also, you need to have a little room for up and down movement, as I showed before. Okay, now we have some copper paste, and I know some of you guys will hate me in the comments, but I tend to take more than needed, I guess. But at least it's okay for me. So this is a video I show how I did it, and you don't need to necessarily do everything like I did. So maybe you use less copper paste or something like this. Yeah, should be fine this way, I guess. Just be sure to not get your copper paste on the braking pad itself. The braking part of the braking pad, and yeah, you will be fine. The copper paste is needed to prevent your rear brake making squeaking noises or something like this. So you absolutely want to get some copper paste on these parts. Maybe not as much, but as I said before, it's my choice in this case. You just absolutely should not get some of the things on the braking pads itself. As I showed here, it happened to me, and this is something you have to clean before install. Just because on your braking discs, this copper paste will not be good for you in terms of braking. So once those both pads are inside, remember there's this compression thing on the back. So you need to push it inside the caliper in case you want to get these screws back in. Yeah. Okay. Now you need to have some of these screw secure thing. And put it on the screw itself. Just a little drop may help at this point. And then just screw them back in, get them hand tight as they were before. I know I said they were hard to get out, but in my opinion, it is mainly because of this blue screw tightener thing, because once they were initially loose, they were loose to screw out at all. Yeah, don't know if this makes sense or not, but just screw them back in and then get some additional torque on it, and you'll be good. Just make sure that you don't damage the screws, because this won't be good for you if you damage the screw. Yeah. Clean it a little bit up if you need to. I don't know. Like I did here. Was perfectly fine on my bike for this. And at the last point, try to get some distance between those two braking pads by using a tool similar to like I did here. Just because you want to get the braking disc between those pads, and there you need to have a little bit of space. Yeah. Then get the caliper back on your wheel and your braking disc, and try to figure out where the screw holes are and screw the screws in. Same procedure here. First tighten it with your hand this much you can, and then use a screwdriver. Same here. I don't have any torque looked up in the internet. You may do so. I just screw the screws back to this point where the marker is on my bike, and yeah, I guess that's fine for me. Just think about how you want to have this. And same thing here. You can damage the screws. Don't over tighten them. You may choose to come back a week later or a month later and try if you can screw the screws a little bit tighter or not. Or if the screws got loose, you may try this. I guess it's not necessary, but better try than don't have a brake at all. Okay, back on the right side, you may push the brake, and you can see how the fluids are going back into your braking lines and your caliper. And this is totally fine. It's the way it used to be. So everything's good at this point. Put the gear in neutral and try to spin the wheel. But remind there's a cardan at this wheel, and it spins too. But if your wheel drives somehow free, everything should be fine for you, and you can assemble the braking reservoir on the other side, on the right side again. With starting with the membrane, be sure to clean it. Like I said before, you don't want to have particles inside of the reservoir. And yeah, then you need the plastic spacer thing and the lid at all. Yeah. Use Phillips screwdriver to tighten those two screws. Make them hand strong, and everything will be fine, I guess. Once again, do not damage the screws. Okay, now we want to get our ABS sensor back in. First of all, I did a little cleaning on this thing. I don't know if this is necessary or if you could damage it by cleaning. Don't know. Do it or don't do it. It's up to you, not to me. I did by mine. Be sure that the cable of your ABS sensor is behind the braking line. It was designed this way, so be sure to keep it this way. Okay, we need our screw tightener for the ABS sensor screw. Just give it a dip of this blue thing, and yeah, then screw it in, and should be fine, I guess. Once again, this screw can be tightened to hand strong, and then you will be fine. The screw tightener does the rest for you, after all. Yeah, so this was it, I guess. You should be fine to go at this point, and yeah, Make a comment if you have any problems or not, but the whole process is pretty straight and there are no surprises, I guess. Okay, last of all, clean your tools and then make sure that you take your rubbish with you. Not everything can go into the household waste, so make sure you separate your waste. In this case, especially the braking pads, no, can't go to the household waste. So, yeah, leave your area clean. Shouldn't be sad, but sadly, I have to, because I always see people who let their waste where it is, and yeah, just don't do this. Just don't do this. So, if you liked my tutorial, please leave a like, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube, and yeah, we will see you in the next video. But the last point of getting this work done is letting the bike down off this holding tool, and yeah, it's pretty scary because the bike starts to fall in one direction at one point, and this is it's very scary. So as you see, nothing crazy happens, but you have to trust the process. So thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.